Hi guys, welcome back to the final lesson of From PSD to HTML5. My name is Dan Wellman and today we're just going to recap over everything that we've learned in the course. So we started out in lesson 1 by taking a look at what we were going to be covering in the course and looking through the PSDs, and we worked with Twitter's Bootstrap build tool to build a custom version of Bootstrap that gave us, some of the colors and fonts that we were going to use. In lesson 2, we looked at the most basic way of slicing out images from PSDs. We used the marquee tool to select areas of the page to cut out and looked at fixing a common problem where Photoshop automatically feathers images we cut. In lesson 3, we looked at a quicker way of slicing up the PSDs when there are a lot of images that need to be cut out by using guides to automatically divide up the page into slices and then using the Create Slices from Guides button. In lesson 4, we took a brief detour away from the templates to look at how we can take advantage of the low quality non-semantic markup that Photoshop is able to generate in order to build the beginnings of an HTML email. In lesson 5, we looked at some of the other types of slice that we can use within Photoshop. So we created user slices with the slice tool and layer slices, which are created automatically by Photoshop and are able to keep in sync with a layer even if the layer changes its dimensions. We also looked at how to promote a layer slice into a user slice. In part 6, we got down to business and actually started adding the markup for our 2-page templates. And in lesson 7, we added some of Bootstrap's grid framework classes to add the layout for the pages. In lesson 8, we looked at adding some of the more decorative styling to our pages. So we did another pass through the PSDs again, picking out a lot more of the specific kind of spacing and general kind of decorative styling for the 2 templates. In lesson 9, we looked at how to install plugins in Photoshop to extend its functionality. And the plugin that we looked at was called CSS3PS, which is able to export CSS from Photoshop layers. In lesson 9, we looked at how we should organize our sprite sheets using a simple grid made with guides to make updating and maintaining the sprite sheets much easier and to make adding the CSS easier. In lesson 11, we finished off the templates by adding the remaining styling to the list page. We didn't need to add much at all because our CSS was fairly modular and the markup for the 2 pages was almost identical. In lesson 12, we looked at various ways that we can quickly and easily cut out irregular shapes. As developers, we might need to do this occasionally, so this is a very useful skill to master. And we covered the quick selection tool and the pen tool. In lesson 13, we looked at Photoshop's native scripting capabilities and saw how we can extend the application with custom behavior in the form of JavaScript that we can write, which invokes Photoshop's scripting API to work with files from within the application. And we tied things up in lesson 14 just by looking at a couple of basic tips and tricks for working with Photoshop from a developer's perspective, including a couple of brand new features of Photoshop, including the snapshot and the layer filter. So this now brings us to the end of the course. I hope that you've enjoyed it and that you've learned things you can take away in order to improve your day-to-day workflow. Thanks for watching.